evening viewers and welcome to the Art with World. I am your host Arshad Waheed. In our program, we discuss intersections of creativity, culture and our contemporary life. Today we are venturing into a bold new frontier, and that is interaction between art and artificial intelligence. We will discuss today whether a machine can be creative. Are we witnessing birth of a new artist, or is it just a next generation of tools? We will explore the cutting edge of this revolution and see how it's going to affect future of art, music, painting. And joining us today are a very distinguished guest, Dr. Awan Sahab. He is a poet, translator, professor of English language, English literature, and also pro-rector of Rehman University, Islamabad. And Rashid Saleem Sahab, who is associate professor of English literature. He is a poet, translator, and principal of Federal College for Boys, F10, Islamabad. Welcome to our show, sir. So I'll start with you, Dr. Safi. What do we mean by creativity or human creativity, to be specific?
Creativity, in the sense in which we are talking of today, is something that humans imagine and then make something out of that, and that is usually something which comes out of nothing sometimes, but most of the time it comes out of something, that is the existing materials. For example, we have 7 basic colors in nature, but humans have created so many different shades, thousands of them actually. Similarly, we have languages, we have words at our disposal, but the creative mind, when deals with those words and thinks about those words according to his or her own feelings, emotions, our pain, our existential anxiety, then the same words are used in order to create something new. Technically, in literary terms, we have 2 words in Urdu language also, that is Awud and Ahmad.
Okay.
So when you, like Ghalib, you go to sleep and suddenly under the spell of that creativity, you wake up and then you start writing. And then early morning you just rearrange those thoughts. Or something which Wordsworth said, this powerful onslaught of feelings or emotions recollected in tranquility. So that is a kind of Ahmad, and things that come to you, thoughts that come to you in a sudden spell of feelings, and then later on you may compose the same. In Awud, you make an effort. It's not merely a sudden rush of feelings, but you sit down, you think about something, and then you arrange your thoughts, and in this way you can create something. So both are creative in nature, but particularly with reference to the topic that we are discussing today, I would say that this is the essential difference between the human intelligence and the mechanical, artificial intelligence. Because a human can have this kind of pressure of feelings, and he can or she can suffer and feel the pain, and then come up with something in words or in a painting or in any other art form. So that is more like Ahmad. But machine learning and the productivity of machine, creativity of machine is more like Awud, because it can only analyze what is existing, what the existing materials and words and processes, which are again human. So out of the human culture production and human creativity, artificial intelligence just struggles with that and analyzes that, and then comes up with something which may still have an element of newness and originality.
So, Rashid Sahab, what's your take on that? Can a machine be really creative in true sense, or it's just mimicking different patterns already fed into its system?
Yes, in fact, there are different kinds of artificial intelligences. One of them is just a classifier that labels things into groups, and then there is analytical artificial intelligence that analyzes the existing data. In ChatGPT, we are aware of generative artificial intelligence, where it generates new pieces of information, either it is in form of sound or in the form of images or videos or text. So, it is like multimodal generative artificial intelligence, and nowadays we also use the agentic artificial agent. So, they work for us like agents for a particular purpose. So, coming back to your question, I would think that it is creative. In fact, creativity can be explained in different ways. It is a fundamental human trait. It is not just something that only the artists can do. In fact, human beings can be recognized as creative creatures, and even when we speak language, it involves creativity. But this kind of creativity is different from art and poetry and music composition. For that, you also require poetic sensibility or tradition, and so you mix your feelings and emotions with that cultural and poetic and artistic sensibility, and you come up with something new. Safir Sahab has rightly mentioned that in artificial intelligence, intelligence does not have feelings. So, we have the lived experiences. So, whatever we are dealing with affect us, and so we are passionate about it, we are affected by it. Whereas for artificial intelligence, it's all bits and pieces of information, just the data, and it can analyze it, it can generate it, and it can come up with what is called the divergent thinking, which is the hallmark of creative thinking. So, it can come up with new patterns, and so I would personally say that it is also creative, although it is very difficult to distinguish between art and craft, as Safir Sahab has done, because these boundaries are actually blurred, because there are few things that we need to learn in order to be a good craftsman, but then there is also this creative impulse that is inside us. So, it is a blend of both, and I would say that modern artificial intelligence is now capable of assisting us in creativity and also producing certain new patterns. It can compose music, it can generate paintings, and even nowadays, with, for example, Google VO3, you can make short video clips. So, all you do is just give it an idea, and then it can come up with the scene, the dialogue, and choreography, and it involves everything that we expect from a director, screenwriter, actor, singer. So, it is all blended into a final product. Of course, right now we need an artist to supervise the process and also to remove certain glitches from the final output in order to make it human compatible. But I think there are already some examples of good pieces of art that are purely generated by artificial intelligence. So, my take on this is that yes, it can not only analyze the existing data, but it could also, following the patterns in the existing data, it could also generate new patterns. Whether it associates feelings and emotions with it or not, but the music produced by artificial intelligence moves us as much as the music which is produced by a human being.
Well, I'll talk. Another question just came into my mind. By technological revolution, by industrial revolution, it is said that human beings were relatively being more cut off from reality. They don't work with their hands, while machine does the job they wanted to do. Firstly, they were farmers themselves, but then machines came in. They used to sew their clothes by themselves, but then machines came. So a lot of things, daily life, various functions which man used to do have been replaced by machine. So does it mean that we are entering into an era where even our imagination is being removed away from us?
I am more optimistic about the human future in this regard, and also the role and place of the human agency in the creative process and in various types of creativity. You asked the right question actually, the first one, that is, what is creativity? Similarly, we can ask what is intelligence? So depending upon our definitions, as Rashid Saab has said, we can say whether machines are creative, whether they are intelligent, whether they can replace the human agency in the creation of arts and crafts and so on. Definitions are very important. So maybe if you define intelligence and creativity in one sense, there the artificial intelligence will fit in easily. But if you define it in some other way, perhaps in that definition, this kind of intelligence may not fit at this point in human history at least. I think that when Descartes said that I think, therefore I am, because he suffered from toothache, and then he could say that I think, therefore I am, because actually it can translate into so many other variations like I feel, therefore I am. So, human beings have this ability from being to becoming. They are, they exist, they be, but they also become something. The machine, of course, its intelligence is increasing because of the human intelligence, human interventions, human working with the machines, and they are improving the machines. So in that sense, the agency still remains with the human brain, with the human mind, and with the human aspirations. Where we want to take it, the machine, that again we can decide. So yes, machine is more efficient, of course, you are right. It helps us in our daily chores, and now it is helping us in thinking also. But my take is that AI is generative, as Rashid has said, and it is more derivative, but it is still not as creative in the sense which I think that we human beings can be creative. For example, when Mir Taqi Mir said, मुझको शायर न कहो
मीर के साहब मैंने
दर्दो गम कितने किए जमा तो दीवान किया. So these existential fears and anxieties that humans have, machines cannot have, and perhaps this is why that this human consciousness will always remain ahead of the machines. Of course, there is debate and there are developments also. The creation of human this machine consciousness becoming at the level of human consciousness, but perhaps we are still far away from there. We are traveling to that direction very fast, but I still doubt whether whether machines can ever get the complexity of human consciousness and cognition.
Well, Rashid sir, can these, I mean, scientists or whosoever are expert on AI, can they feed biases into machines so that they can also have anxieties and fears and pains?
Well, they already have the biases, but I'm not sure about anxieties and fears, because for that
If we have biases, then we'll have anxieties and
uh,
fears. Huh?
they are biases for us actually, not for them.
Okay.
For machine, it's just the data. In fact, we have modeled machines on us, and for us, everything that we observe is the data. So there are things that we see, that we hear, that we feel, that we taste. But for computer, our mental product is the data. So, for example, the word fear, the word anxiety, it has associations with our emotions and feelings. So it can generate certain chemicals in my brain, but it doesn't do so in the computer. But computer has the similar concept of these words in its own algorithms, in its own matrices, right? So what I would say is that we have been a bit unfair when we try to compare computers or machines with human beings, because we always change the goalpost. You know, when computer achieves something, we say, no, we are better because computer can't do this, machines can't do this. So in the beginning, you know, computers couldn't even compute. So when they became good at computing, we said, oh, anything can do that. We are human beings because we can speak, we can write. We are Hivan and Atik, as we used to define us. Now we have redefined ourselves, and now we say, no, computers can't think, computers can't understand. But now they have started thinking, they have started conceptualizing ideas that we have been conceptualizing in the past, and now we have started calling them intelligent because they show the signs of intelligences that we expect from human beings. Now we say that they can't feel, they don't have volition, they are not sentient. Yes, I agree. Right now they are not sentient, they don't have volitions. But as far as creativity is concerned, I think in certain ways, majority of the human beings, they fall far shorter than the computers, because normally when we think of creativity, we only think of the best of bests, which I would say only maybe 0.1% of the human beings. So we try to compare computer generated music with Beethoven, for example, or we try to compare its generated text with Shakespeare. But for average human being, I think it can generate text which majority of the 99% of the people probably can't do. And it's quick. We can't beat the quickness. And to be honest, I would say that these days, even the artists, poets and dramatists and creative artists, they are actually using artificial intelligence quite a lot. They are not open about it. They take a lot of assistance because they say it saves time. But it doesn't just save time, it actually assists them in plenty of things, because creativity also means playing with the words, playing with the images, and it can come up with altogether new ideas. And human beings, they are just simply nowadays they are just taking bits and pieces of information and putting it together. For example, if making a movie involves lots of skills, as I said earlier. So we are using one tool to generate the script, we are using another tool to generate the dialogue, another tool to generate the scene, and right now it's not fully automated. So it still requires the assistance of artists and human beings. But I think the next step would be when we have built these agents. So the director, writer, choreographer, these are the agents, and they would we could even have the director, and they would work in unison. They would have meetings, and they would exchange information, and they would fully come up with a complete movie or complete music. Now, the sense is whether they feel it themselves or not, but as I said earlier, art pieces produced by them, they move us, and sometimes it's even difficult for us to differentiate between the human produced art and AI generated art.
So, Dr. Safi, what's the limit of AI imagination or thought process? As he has said, Rashid Sahab has said that computer has started thinking. So, does it have some limit? It doesn't have any limit,
No,
whereas actually it draws from existing data, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it is quite limited still. It cannot reach the depth of human consciousness yet. Yes, it is true that in some futuristic post-human world, the machines will, overpower us in this sense. And in fact, right now, if they are just working as our assistants, in future maybe they will become more creative, because it's very hard to, deny at this point in time that machines won't be ever able to reach the immensity of human imagination. I can't say that with total,
It is
surety.
your wish or it's your analysis?
It's my analysis also. It's not my wish, because it doesn't matter if even if we are replaced by the machines. Anyway,
Why it doesn't matter?
Because anyway we are becoming very mechanical in so many ways. We are losing our.
But when we
humans.
lose control on everything around, even our imagination and creativity, it matters a lot for human species, I think.
Yes, it should. But the point is this, that when it's a race and it's a matter of survival of the fittest, then of course the machines, when they become as intelligent as they are shown in dystopian fiction, for example, then of course we will be replaced by the machines. They will be our competitors in every way, just as at this point in human history, the human beings are competitors with each other. In the survival of the fittest paradigm, there are more powerful human beings, those who have political power or economic power or imaginative power. They are better than others, and therefore they rule the world, they impact the world, they influence the world with their creativity, for instance. But maybe in future we will be able to invent such intelligent machines, more intelligent than what we have now. For example, in one of these dystopian films, Cassandra, it's a German film, and there's a robot, a female robot, fembot, and she works in the household, and she can move in the lawn. She can work as a lawnmower. She works in the kitchen and also in the bedroom, and they serve. It serves the whole family food, everything. But at the same time, it's learning human intelligence, human biases, and when, for example, the lady of the house opposes its presence in the bedroom, then it feels offended. It's also structured as a female, that fembot. So it creates an offense from that, and it starts hatching plots against wife, and creates a bias against her in her husband's mind. And in this way, the family starts fighting with each other, because she wants to claim a space in the life of husband. She wants to replace wife. So I mean, such kind of machines, such kind of intelligence possible in the human future. But then there will be other questions, and those questions are actually they have started haunting us right now in terms of the ethical use of AI and other platforms, and therefore we can discuss this other side of AI.
Well, before we discuss ethical aspects of AI and its use, could you just explain a little bit, Rashid Sahab, how this AI has a creative process? What are the systems which help create things, in particularly in art forms, like ChatGPT or other tools which create paintings and music even?
There are different types of artificial intelligences, but right now we are talking about generative artificial intelligence. Okay. And if we just take one of the elements like text, now in our world we have a huge you can say storehouse of words. Mm-hmm. So in computer there is a similar storehouse of words, but these words are represented by numbers rather than the sounds or their orthographic forms on the page. And these numbers, they exist in a virtual space, multi-dimensional space, and they can be calculated. In other words, in the past we used to have Google for searching a particular keyword, but now it has the semantic mapping of all the words that exist in human languages. And one of the reasons why it is easy for artificial intelligence to translate from one language to another is because it hasn't stored the words in any particular language. So that is a limitation for us, but not for the computer. So these abstract ideas are in the form of numbers, and they can be outputted in any language of any human language. And sometimes even we have to remind artificial intelligence that I asked you this question and I wanted the output in this language, but you have provided me the output in another language, and then it realizes, so that means its processor is actually just manipulating those numbers as abstract ideas, and then outputting it in the form of language that human beings understand. And that has actually helped us understand even the languages that I don't understand. So you can ask it to produce something in Hebrew, or you can give it a text in Hebrew, scan a text, give it in Hebrew, and then ask it to translate it into Punjabi or Urdu, and it will. Of course, there are certain glitches, but I think with the passage of time, these are minor issues. They can be overcome with the passage of time. For me, I can learn only 5, 6, 7 languages, but it learns all those languages because it has a different methodology to look at things. As far as the replacement, I would say right now we are not replaced by the machines, but we have a real threat of being replaced by the artists who use artificial intelligence. So if you don't use artificial intelligence and you are a teacher, probably you will be replaced by a teacher who uses it, because he will be more proficient, he or she will be more proficient.
Yeah, very interesting. So have you ever come across some artistic product of like in art or literature which is generated by AI? Have you seen that?
In fact, I have used my own platforms. There is one platform called suno.com. It's an artificial intelligence platform for producing music. So for example, once I just gave it a prompt that I want a melancholic song I gave it a genre, I think probably jazz, and then I asked it to produce a melancholic song about 13, 14 people who were drowned in the river Swat, and it gave me 2 tracks within seconds. It wrote the lyrics, it composed the music, vocals, and it had everything in it. It even gave it the title, and I think I can play one of it during the break or something, just a small short. And if you send it to somebody, I actually did send it to some of my friends, and they only realized because of the lyrics it included the like river Swat. Otherwise they were unable to differentiate whether it is sung by a machine or a real singer. And I didn't do anything. In fact, I can use the notes and I can generate music with the help of, it's just one such platform. There are many other platforms, like there is AIVA, AIVA, and in AIVA you can, any singer you like, you can take one symphony actually, it would decompose it into notes, musical notes, and then you can make minor changes to it, or you can just give it a prompt. Some people actually generate prompt from another platform and then feed it to the music platform, and then it could come up with the music that I would say majority of the people are unable to identify whether it is human generated or artificially generated.
Dr. Safi, then what would humans do when everything is being done by machines, even they are creating art?
They will, number one, keep creating more such machines, more such platforms, more of the such stuff, because this is what they can do, this is what they are capable of. As I said in the beginning, that they are the gods of these machines, they are the creators of these machines, and for a long time I foresee they will remain the gods. At the same time, of course, what Rashid Sahab has said, that machines are becoming so intelligent that they are creating music and paintings and poetry and everything. Yes, it is true. In fact, I came to know on the social media that the first such collection of such anthology of poems is going to be published soon, maybe already published, because it was written in no time, but it is taking time to get published. Masnui Nazme, artificial poems. Somebody, I think from Karachi, he has written these, or asked the ChatGPT or some other platforms to craft these. I don't call it writing, to craft these kinds of versification. And of course, I mean, such creativity, such poetry, it also has metaphors, because machine is perhaps also capable of deriving those existing metaphors in the cyber space and reshuffle them. But can machine think of new metaphors? I mean, reshuffling the existing one, fine, but when we face, for example, some new images in the universe, or some new phenomena, or some new kind of feelings that very personal, very inner, so that interiorization of the external goes into the creative process, and we come up with new metaphors. So this is another thing. For example, if you ask a machine to describe grief or pain, it may, of course, come up with certain metaphors and similes which may be existing already, but again, depending upon the cultural nuances, For example, one novel that I am translating nowadays, there spiders have a very significant role in the life of the protagonist, this young girl who suffers from this fear of the spiders. And therefore, I mean, grief and fear for her is encapsulated all the time in the form of one kind of spider or other kind of spider, and she knows all types of spiders. So, for her, grief is a kind of spider that has taken root in her being, in her soul, and it is clutching on her, thoughts and her brain all the time. So, this is, the lived experience. This is something very personal, also very cultural. I mean, I don't say that spiders are, loved or hated in the same proportion everywhere. But of course, in some cultures, perhaps you can say that spiders may be either revered or they may be thought as figures of, repulsion. So, all of these nuances, cultural nuances, are there, still there in human creativity, and it will take the machines more time to grasp all of them, and then analyze and come up with their own poetic metaphors.
Okay. Now there is another interesting question.
I actually wanted to
Okay,
add
please.
something to it. One of my friends, Iftikhar Shafi, who is a professor at Sahiwal College, Government College Sahiwal, he has also produced poems in Urdu, and the name of the poetess is Fahmida Sanai, which is artificial intelligence. And I have gone through the script. These are wonderful poems, and there are new metaphors. Safir Sab, the machine probably doesn't feel the way we do as an individual, but once our feelings are reflected in collectively in the culture, machine can learn it, and it can produce according to the cultural nuances and according to the poetic sensibility of a particular time period or a particular poet or the poetic tradition, and then it can generate accordingly. And it can come up with new metaphors. I have come across plenty of new metaphors, but the problem is that since they are new, we do not connect it with it immediately, and we don't find it so creative, and therefore we try to change it according to what I would expect if I myself would write a poem. So I would probably expect a similar kind of thing from machine. I would say that these cultural nuances, poetic traditions, it's only that they haven't learnt all that data. Right now, we are just talking about generic artificial intelligences, but you can fine tune it by feeding a particular kind of data. For example, you can teach it Ghalib and Iqbal, and then you would see that and ask the machine to produce, well, it won't be as much crafted, but it can still use the symbolic network which exists in Ghalib or Iqbal's poetry, and it does understand it, and it can produce, and even it can, by using that, it can produce new metaphors and its own symbols. This is what I have felt.
You have just referred that your friend Iftikhar Shafi has given the name of Fahmida Sanai to the poetess. It may be he has given the name, or the machine gave
No,
it the name.
the name is given by him.
Okay.
And
But
the
coming from this, there is another question. When some poem is written by AI, or some painting is drawn by AI, or some music is created by AI, who is the owner of that creation? Because so far it draws from already existing data. So who is the owner of that?
well, first of all, I think it needs clarification. It doesn't actually pick up the existing data. It doesn't copy paste it. That's a common misconception. It learns from the patterns, existing patterns in the existing data, as we learn. When we look at things that are green in color, that's one pattern, right? Similarly, it picks up patterns, and then from those, utilizing those patterns, it can generate the text or images or sound. So it doesn't pick up the data in the same way as, for example, when we plagiarize, we pick up a certain passage, few words or few phrases, and we all know that if someone's idea is rephrased, it's difficult for sometimes to detect plagiarism. So coming back to your question, it's very difficult to give copyrights to any particular artist, and well, technically they have tried to input certain digital signatures along with these AI generated art forms, so that legally they can be identified. And then there are some, definitely there are connoisseurs who can still identify machine generated art. But Iftikhar Shafi, for example, he didn't use the word writer or producer for that. I can't recall what he for himself. He is just a prompter, for example, muharrik. He used the word muharrik. He just initiated it.
Okay. So, Dr. Safi, would you like to add something to what Rashid Sahab has said?
This plagiarism and related, concerns, they are again purely human concerns. I mean, the machines, even if they produce on our prompts, they are not going to challenge us anywhere that we have plagiarized something from them, because the machine itself is actually recycling what is existing, already produced by the human beings. So it's a question again between the publishers and the writers and the creators and the film producers, graphic designers, and so on. So ownership, because in this case, ownership is still human. I mean, when you give a prompt as a human, you are the instigator and you are still the agent in most of the time. Maybe yes, as Rashid said, that in future in agentive AI we will have these agents also who would be doing everything. Perhaps just like us, who would go to sleep, and even if they don't go to sleep, whenever they would like, they will start making a film, or still they would need a prompt from some human agency to start doing that. But still, I would like to emphasize what I have been saying all along, that can an algorithm understand the weight of a glance between two human beings? I mean, I am quoting here, or actually just reminded of Von Kar-Wai's famous film, In the Mood for Love. It has not much of dialogue. It's almost silent, and just in glances and the facial expressions, the whole language of love and pain is conveyed. So this is something where humans still have superiority, and I think that in so many ways we will continue to have that superiority. I would like to quote here Amartya Pritam's few lines, where she says in Punjabi, "एक दर्द सी जो सिगरेट दी तरह मैं चुपचाप पीता है, सिर्फ कुछ लफ्ज़ां हों जो सिगरेट नालों मैं राख वांगण झाड़ियाँ."
Can you just translate it as well for our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that since she says that she is smoking, and just with every puff of smoke, she creates a poem or a few lines, and then gives it to others. So since the machines cannot or don't want to smoke, or they don't have this urge to smoke, so they don't live in that kind of atmosphere or the lived experience, as we said in the beginning.
But
So in
Saleem
that
sir,
case, sorry, just wanted to add one thing. As you were telling, the Meer's share, "Dardo gham kitne kiye jama," so
मुझको शायर न
Diwan.
कहो मीर
yeah,
के
I have
साहब
collected
ने.
so many sorrows, and then we created this
Yeah.
poetry book.
Yeah.
So now the Meer of our time may say that I have collected so many data and fed into this machine and created this
Yeah.
product. So you were saying something.
yeah, machine doesn't smoke, but it can simulate smoking as much as we do. In fact, what we forget is that related to all our activities, we have the consciousness stored in this word house or whatever chemical secretions. So similarly, it has artificial intelligence has its own world, and in that world it has the simulated reality of everything that exists in human beings, almost all that everything that is reflected in the data, it can pick it up from the patterns, and with those patterns it can actually simulate as the poems that I was talking about. Right now I don't have any sample to read, but those poems actually use the metaphors from the experiences of human beings, and they are really very moving as this.
But again, it's all simulation. That is the point.
So Dr. Safir, what are your anxieties or concerns or fears or excitements about future of AI in creativity?
Well, at my stage of life, I am almost free from them.
Why?
Because I have, more past than future. So, yes, but in human continuity, if you ask me this serious question, in terms of human continuity, the continuity of human existence in this world, I have anxieties. I feel that we are fast heading towards a post-human future that we envisioned only in science fiction previously. But now we are making, these developments in a way. So yes, we are replaceable unless human beings themselves decide under some ethical compulsions that we must stop. Just as in, for example, genetic engineering and cloning, there is a cap on research and its applications in creating designer babies and human beings according to one's own wish, by playing with the DNA, human DNA. Just as there is, there is a cap on that kind of research, and it's illegal. Maybe if human beings realize that our future and our very existence is threatened on this earth, maybe they will, cap, put limits on the use of AI.
Okay.
There are
Briefly, your
already
take on
international platforms that are doing it. So now lawyers are joining heads, and they are coming up with, as we used to have like cyber crimes, and now we have AI related crimes. So whole new fields are actually are born. Similarly, these self-driving cars, for this we have special moral and ethical philosophers, team of moral and ethical philosophers, social philosophers, who join heads and try to come up with rules and regulations for artificial intelligence, just as they do for human beings. Personally, I think that this human curiosity, it will I don't know where it will lead to, but it can never be capped. And maybe you can stop them from research and industrial products, but as an individual, I don't think the kind of power that AI is giving to individuals in future, it's very difficult to control it. But what I normally say to my students and to the next generation is that we have no other option. So rather than being afraid of it, actually we should learn it, and we should overcome it in order to stay on top of it, rather than just being afraid and abandoning it altogether. That's not the option, I think.
So, thank you very much Dr. Safir and Rashid Saleem sir for being with us this evening. It was wonderful discussion, very insightful discourse, and of course, we could not conclude many aspects of AI and creativity, but at least we are having some questions which we can still explore to learn how AI is going to shape human future, particularly in art and creativity. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having us.
So viewers, thank you for watching us. See you next Sunday, same time.